Hey, welcome back. So I guess this is a series because I'm not quite ready to be done this yet, and it's yeah, okay. I guess it just like ended. I guess we got an hour of playtime. Interesting. But anywho, if you watched last time, I was talking about a church that I go to with calzones that I like. But anyway, the one that they got that's most recent that like I actually like a lot is it's ground beef. It's all beef sausage. It's hot peppers. It's beans. And it's cheese. And, you know, all that mixed together doesn't sound too good. Like, I can admit that, like, I was nervous to try it. Especially since, like, the last couple months, the monthly calzones at the church, that, like, they haven't been great. You know, the new flavors, but this one was so good. And it's weird because a lot of those ingredients I'm not usually a fan of, so to put them together for some reason, for it to be so good enough that I'm legitimately like texting people that I see at the church and being like, I'm excited to go to church and get this food. I'm not particularly religious. Like, I was raised Catholic, but I am not a very particularly religious person. I respect most religions. There's a couple I really don't respect at all, and I'll actually think less of you if you believe in them. But that's just because I don't like the culture. That has nothing to do with, like, believe what you want to believe. But I think if your belief system takes away people's rights, then you are not... that's not a belief system. It's an excuse, if that makes sense. An excuse to hate. And I don't tolerate hate. Well, that's bull. That's crap, because I'm a total hater. I was literally talking last episode about being a certified pickle hater. But you know what I mean. So it's a whole thing with me. Jump on the pole. I'm not the one you got to give those instructions to. I'm very good at jumping on poles. But yeah, I'm excited though to eat that because I've had those. It's funny though because, like I said, I have food at home now. Like you know, usually I would go when I didn't have food, and that was kind of the only reason I went, was because it was a free dinner. Because it was one of those cows. It was a calzone and it was a soup. I actually haven't seen what the soup is today. I don't usually search up what the soup is because I kind of know in my head that chances are I'm not gonna care about getting it because I'm not a massive soup dude. They only do the soups in the winter, thank goodness, which means most of the year you get salad, and I love most salads. I'm a big salad guy, so I don't mind. I'm a big guy who eats salad. That's why I'm a big salad. No. Okay. This baby thing creeped me out in the movie. But then I just felt bad for him. Oh yeah, see, I'm glad that wasn't really high, like really HD graphics, or I would have been like pissing myself as a child. But I actually never got this far on this game as a child, on the Wii. Ooh, that was a spooky. That spooked me. Well, maybe don't yell at the top of your lungs if you're trying not to get caught. That's probably not the best decision. Guys, do you think Lotso the bear was written as an allegory for fascism? Because I think he was. I think Toy Story 3 has never been more relevant as a political commentary. There we go, another level completed. Now, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be playing as Buzz much anymore. If you guys have seen the movie, you kind of know what happens after this. It's an unfortunate occurrence for Mr. Lightyear. Sure, don't tell. I hate going to the library. Yo, I want to be with that. No, I'm kidding. I'm pretty sure they've done that plot in every single movie. Because, you know, in the first movie, obviously Buzz thinks he's a real space ranger. That's like the whole plot. And then in the second movie, there's a second Buzz who thinks he's a space ranger. And then in the third movie, the Buzz becomes... So, like, they've literally done the same bit in every single movie as a plot point, and it's kind of annoying. That's why I think they should have leaned more into the aspect of world building, the human and toy kind of thing, because they never actually give a real explanation. Like, are they the souls of people? Are they never world build a lot. In fact, I think the Toy Story shorts that I watched that take place between the third and fourth movie actually did more world building than any of the actual movies, at least the first three. Because, like, actually, so I watched one. It was Toy Story of Terror, I think it was called. It was the Halloween special. That's all I remember. And Buzz Lightyear eats a white liquid off a hotel floor, says it tastes salty, and we never come back to it or have any explanation as to what it was, which leads me to believe that there's only one answer as what the white salty liquid on the floor of the hotel was, and I'm not going to answer that. If Buzz Lightyear doesn't want to explain it, I'm not going to explain it. But yeah, it was I was like, my jaw hit the floor watching that, like, half an hour short, and knowing the fact that they willingly made that joke, I was like, no way. I was, like, legitimately kind of surprised. And then there was the Toy Story That Time Forgot, which was kind of a weird thing for me, because there was some lines from Trixie the dinosaur to the other dinosaurs who thought they were real dinosaurs, or whatever they were. They thought they were basically like superheroes or some shit. It's been a couple days since I originally watched it, and I don't care to rewatch it because it was kind of like boring. But it wasn't boring per se, it just wasn't like as interesting as the actual movies, because it was, you know, just its own. Anyway, there is some world building done in there about, like, what it feels like to get played with. That sounds really weird, but you get my point. And it's strange. And I think a lot of the symbolism with Woody is, like, a lot of people ask where Andy's dad is throughout the movies, but I think if you pay attention, it's kind of spelled out without spelling it out. You know, it's made kind of clear that Woody's Roundup is a very old show that's way older than, you know, Andy ever is in the series. You know, Andy's playing with Woody and it's in the 90s, but his show seems to be from like the 40s or 50s. So it's made pretty clear that Woody belonged to Andy's father before he belonged to Andy, and was kind of passed down to him, and that's why Andy's so close with Woody and always holds him, you know, special, because that reminds him of his father. And, like, there's a whole bunch of that kind of stuff that, like, isn't that subtle. Like, it's kind of stated pretty clearly without being hammered in. I just think a lot of people aren't used to subtle filmmaking and subtle messages, but it's kind of made pretty clear, even in the third movie when he's giving his toys away, that he intended to keep Woody with him at college, because that, you know, would remind him. And it's kind of letting go of the grief and becoming his own man, and not falling under the pressure of being, you know, I don't know. It's kind of a whole thing, but it is very clearly made. It's made pretty clear throughout the series that Woody is no spring chicken and is getting up there in age, and that he did not originally belong to Andy. It's kind of that world building is done, but I don't think people picked up on a lot of it, just due to it not being the main focus of the plot, it being a lot more of a very much in the background event. So but I think that's one of the things that I liked the most, is, like, in Toy Story 1, they're moving because, well, they're just moving, to be honest. I don't really remember. I don't think there was ever a reason, but for my kind of understanding of the subtle messages, at least, is that they were moving because that was the house they lived in with Andy's dad, and it was too hard for them to live there anymore. So they moved to a new house, and they stayed there all the way until Andy left for college, in the third one. And it kind of became a letting go. You know, he never really moved on until he was old enough to, you know. And that's why, like I said, Bonnie tries to take Woody because she found him, and he kind of hesitates because, like, it's hard to move on and let go. But he finally gives in, and he's like, you know what, you know, it's okay. Ow, that hurt. Didn't intend to do that. So that's strange. We're gonna want to go as fast as possible. That's better. That had me nervous there. I can't even lie. That was a legitimately, like, tense moment. And I have to go back. I have to backtrack. That's... Oh, no. We don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. Okay, so I need to stop with doing what I keep doing, where I keep pressing circle, because I am used to... with many other games where you have to press circle to, like, grab onto something, and it doesn't help that the circle is the interact button even on this game. So I'm used to pressing circle to interact, so then I attempt to interact with these as if it doesn't already latch just by touching it. And I am just an idiot is my point. That a lot of these... Okay, that one was unavoidable, and that one was bad game design, but everything else is my own stupidity. Like, a lot of these... Okay, this is getting stupid. A lot of these things are my inability to know what I'm doing. This is not one of them, because I am I'm playing the game as it's intended to be played. Jump? Okay, okay, then... I'm gonna kind of assume that we're mostly gonna be Woody and Jesse for a good chunk of what's left of the story mode, unless they really shorten it, which they might, because they have been so far. I don't know how I'm supposed to reach that. Okay, then. Why is there a box in the wall? Is there, like, is this Bonnie's why am I floating? That was... You can't even deny, like, you could be the most hardcore Toy Story 3 on the PSP defender and can't deny that. What the hell was that? Gotcha. So it's gonna be a frustrating red light, green light game again. And it's gonna get me killed. Gotcha. Oh my god, dude. I'm assuming I gotta stay in the bushes. I just thought those bushes probably weren't thick enough for me to hide in them. Okay, well, if you want to keep glitching out and falling off and not behaving... Why does she even need to be looking out the window when she's making, assumingly, a grocery list? I mean, I'm assuming it's either a grocery list or a list of, like... Because they're not moving like the others, like Andy's family is, so there's no need to make a list of items for a new house or something, so I'm just assuming it's a grocery list. Because, like, what else would you need to be doing right now? Unless you're, like, making a list of dishes that need to be washed or something. I am going to be taking a relatively brief break, question mark. I intend to do something on at least the 13th / maybe Valentine's Day. I don't really know anymore. My point that I'm trying to make is that, like, I'm going to be spending some time with family. Okay, voice crack. Going to be spending time with family. And I'm not going to spoil what happens, because why would I do that? But I do intend to begin to bring Adam Investigates back again. I mean, it was never gone. It was just on a hiatus because I was trying to... I never, like, lost the scripts or anything. It was more of just... I needed to figure a lot of resources out for stuff, for certain things. But I do intend to bring it back. I don't think I'll be able to upload to it often, so it's probably going to be I gotta change a lot of plans, if that makes sense. So, like, the series is gonna stay the same. Adam Investigates isn't gonna change. What I'm more talking about is, you know, I intended to try to make a follow-up to my first web series and kind of do a spiritual successor to that. And I don't see myself ever making a sequel or whatever to Project Evidence. I tried for a long time to kind of do that, because I thought that would be a nice, like, a really interesting thing. I don't see myself ever doing that. I started that project when I was 12 years old, and it's been, you know, 8 years since that project was... It's been 11 years since it was originally... I started the writing and, like, brainstorming process for it. So, I think, you know, it's fine. I think where it left off was more than good enough as a conclusive ending, which is funny because it was only supposed to be the midway point of what I had written, but things had gotten so off the rails during COVID because I didn't have any of my actors to play any of the characters I needed, so it was just, I had to include a lot of stuff, and it became a whole mess, and it was so off the rails that I just took the mid-season break idea and said, screw it, this is the end. Is it just me, or was, like, neither of those commas actually necessary? But I am going to use the rest of it.